Hello Guardians, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video I wanted to bring you guys some news on Rise of Iron. Now Game Informer just launched a new update to their homepage. I suggest you go check it out, but it's got basically 4 pages worth of information on Rise of Iron whenever Matt and Ben went to go play at Bungie headquarters and check it out. So they gave us quite a few new bits of information, and I'm going to just run through some of those very quickly and kind of highlight some of the things that I thought stood out to me. The gameplay you're seeing in the background is because I'm so excited about the new Kvostov coming out, the exotic. I decided to pull out my year 1 Kvostov and play with it. Fun fact, this gun is terrible. So not only did you get to play against enemies, but you get to play against the gun as well. So I ended up playing with it. I did have a couple games with it. I didn't record the one where I got the best around medal, but it's tough. It is challenging. So let's get right into the news. First things first that they talk about are some of the new vendors in the new Fellwinter's Peak social space. And something that stood out to me was that they talked about Lord Saladin selling iron engrams. And what he's going to be selling, they will reward year 1 and year 2 armor pieces. So if you're a collector, you like the way some of the other year 1 or year 2 items looked, you have the opportunity to now get those again. Shiro 4 sells class items that look like the year 1 class items, like the Hunter Mantle of Perun, Titan Jolder's Iron Sash, and the Warlock Fellwinter's Iron Bond, which I'm pretty stoked about. I'll have an image on the screen right here so you guys can take a look at it, but those to me are by far probably the best looking Iron Banner gear. I was super stoked whenever they first came out, and I just love the colors. I love the way the Hunter Cloak looks, so I'm really excited for this to be coming back. Moving on, we have confirmation that something like the Sterling Treasure system that we have in the game is making a return. Now they will be referred to as Radiant Treasures, and what we know about it is that, you know, it's another microtransaction. It's going to work very similar to the Sterling Treasures, and then so they're going to come from Eververse, or completing in-game missions. And we're not 100% sure what they contain, but we do have confirmation that there are visual customization options called the ornaments that we've been hearing so much about for exotics that will be included in these boxes. So we don't know if it's just some or all of the exotics, but so far we have confirmation that the Zalo Supercell, the Invective, the Telesto, Mida, and the new Kvostov exotic will be able to take ornaments. They're also going to contain new emotes, which I know a lot of people are excited about that, but I'm still a huge fan of the Thriller emote that they gave us in the Taken King expansion. And then here's something that we did not know up until now, and that is that the Eververse company will sell artifacts. Now, these artifacts are going to be specifically cosmetic, and here's how. So, you know, Matt and Ben said that they seem to target any of those players that want to make in-game movies. So one of the artifacts is called the Golden Age Lens, and it gives your in-game view a sepia tint. So it's basically a filter for your camera. So it's like Snapchat. So you'll now be able to put a cute flower headpiece on your Guardian. No, I'm just kidding. But still, that's exactly what it is. They're specifically cosmetic, and they're only going to affect like your camera. So that's pretty cool. So, you know, no worries about the pay-to-win nonsense. The next piece of information that they gave us deals with the Plague Lands. So they went into a little bit of the lore behind Siva. They said that it's a nanotech-like substance. It's capable of self-organization, but it still needs a director. There are tons of lore guys out there that do videos. I know Bife has done quite a few where he talks about who the possible director of the Siva could be. You know, there's speculation that it isn't the Fallen. You know, they think it could be a corrupted Guardian. There are so many different theories out there. I think it's pretty cool. I'm really excited to get through the story and find out who is directing the Siva. But, you know, they talked about how the Iron Lords fought to steal it away, but the Fallen got a hold of it. And the Siva it can become anything. So it helped enable the expansion of the Golden Age of humanity, and it's the evolution of the matter encryption technology that we currently use for engrams. So that's pretty exciting. There's a little bit of the lore behind it. I'm sure with all of these ghost fragments that we'll be finding way, way more lore about it. They also talked a little bit about the chests in the Plague Lands, which the chests are booby-trapped, which are pretty cool. And what they said was they are trapped with mines and other bad stuff. So we don't know what that other bad stuff is, but I'm sure we'll be finding out soon. So and also they talked about the Gallenhorn quest line. It takes you to PvP arenas like Bannerfall, so that's pretty cool. So it's going to be just like the subclass quest that we had for Taken King. And then next they talked about Archon's Forge. So it's comparable to Court of Oryx, but your sessions for play are longer because you're fending off waves of fallen enemies. So this is close to a horde mode, or this is the closest thing that we have to a horde mode. Some interesting mechanic about it is that death will send you back to the entrance, which is locked. So if you die and you decide to respawn, it will send you right back to the entrance. So it's better to wait for the revive, I guess. And then this will reward, this has the chance to reward max light level gear. While we're on the subject of gear, more vault space has not been confirmed by Bungie, so we're not sure how that's going to work with all this new gear coming. It looks like some of us might have to say goodbye to some of our Year 1 and Year 2 gear. Next they go right into talking about PvP. They talked about how Supremacy is basically kill confirmed for any of you that have played Call of Duty. It drops crests on the ground, and the crests will appear on your HUD. So it will cause a lot of players to sheepishly go in and get those crests. So that's pretty cool. They talked a little bit about the Trials ornaments, how they're going to come from flawless runs. And we have confirmation that there are a brand new set of Trials weapons for Guardians to chase. So, moving on from PvP, they talk about the Wretched Eye. And they talk about strikes, actually. So the Wretched Eye is pretty cool because it's the first strike where we have some random elements to it, meaning the playthrough of it could be random every time you play it. So what's going to happen is that it's going to take you through a bunch of silos as you go through it, and every time you play it, you could have to take a different pathway through these silos. So that's really, really exciting. I hope this opens up more things like this where it's random for strikes, maybe for future content. I know this is the first time that they're ditching the last gen, so sorry 360 and PS3 users, but I think it's going to be good for it. But that random element I'm super stoked about. They talked a little bit about skeleton keys. They're going to drop in a Nightfall, or they could drop in a strike playlist, and you can carry up to 5. We did not know that prior to this. And then they will open chest at the end of any strike for the strike-specific loot. So I know myself personally, there's still a lot of strike-specific loot I haven't gotten. One of the main ones I want is an Imago loot. I got one in the first probably 24 hours of playing Taken King, not knowing what it is, and I ended up dismantling it. And I have not gotten one since, so I definitely regret that. But I'm pretty stoked for that because that'll take that randomness out of strike-specific loot. So I think that's going to give something for players to chase, especially like myself that still haven't collected all that gear. I still need one of the dang Tanic cloaks too. And then they, kind of wrapped it up by talking about the Rise of Iron record book. So the record book is going to work a lot like the SRL book, and it's going to keep track of all of your activities in Rise of Iron account-wide. So basically what that means is, for those of you that run multiple characters, like I run a Hunter and a Titan, I might get my Warlock up, we'll see. But if I complete activities and complete a certain percentage towards a reward on both my Hunter and my Titan, it will add those together and will reward me one piece of gear for all 3 characters. So hitting the threshold will reward a Hunter, a Titan, and a Warlock item. So if you have 2 Titans or 2 Hunters, then they're just going to have to share that gear. But it will give you 3 different class-specific gear, which I think is pretty cool. I can't imagine that the gear would be, that top-tier gear or whatever, light level or super overpowered gear, if they're just giving us 3 pieces just for completing a couple missions. So, but we'll see. I don't know. Cosmetically, it could look the coolest, and we'll just have to see how that goes. You know, that's pretty much all that they had in the article. You know, some of my thoughts. I mean, I'm super, super excited for the content. They said that it's not quite as quote unquote meaty as the Taken King, but the content is going to be there for more in-game activities, I suppose. So once you complete these 5 missions, because there are only 5 story missions coming, you'll be able to chase now more of the in-game gear, which I think is awesome. So it will feel like probably a lot more content, even though technically speaking it's not. So that's something that I'm very excited for, and then I'm also incredibly excited for exploring the Plague Lands. I do play PvP mostly because PvE just isn't my thing, but I do love the lore behind Destiny and what they can do with it. So I think exploring and finding all the secrets that the Plague Lands have to offer are going to be a lot of fun. So there you have it, guys. That's the newest update for Rise of Iron. I have pre-ordered mine already, and I hope that you guys do the same, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.